of October. So you know what's coming? Well, let's start off with this quote from Tony Dangi, football coach, and he says things will go wrong at times. You can't always control circumstances. However, you can always control your attitude, approach, and response. So coach Tony Dangi, who is a football coach, says things will go wrong at times. You can always control circumstances. No, you can't always control circumstances. However, you can always control your attitude, approach, and response. Now, this morning in the world of sports, we'll be talking the Black Sharks because yesterday we had the privilege of speaking to chairman of the Beach Soccer Committee, Yao Ampofo Ankra. And don't forget that they are out of the Beach AFCON in Egypt. Yesterday, they beat their opponent Tanzania by 10 goals to 3, but it was not enough. I mean, they lost their first two games, so automatically they are out. We spoke to him yesterday. He revealed a number of things, and then we'll get to listen to him. And then we'll also move to CAF yesterday. Patrice Motsepe, CAF president, also spoke on the stadium, the issue of countries going outside to play. And we'll get to listen to him as well, and then get to the Champions League because the Champions League resumed yesterday, and Real Madrid yesterday showed once again that they are the White Angels against Dortmund, and they had to come back from 2 goals down to win that game in there. All right, so stand up for the champions. Let's start off from chairman of the Black Sharks, Yao Ampofo Ankra, who has said that they have picked positives from the happenings in Egypt. Don't forget that they lost their first 2 games to Morocco and to Egypt, and the coach of the side as well had to bring in players that they selected and then had to drop 3 other players because of flight issues. So it's a whole lot when it comes to the beach soccer team in there. But then Yao Ampofo says, see, they've picked some positives from this tournament.
The buck falls with me, and I have to take full responsibility for that. I've said it. If it goes well, we'll get a lot of congratulatory messages. If it doesn't, I have to also accept that we haven't done our best, and I haven't done my best as the chairman. Well, what more could I have done? Well, perhaps in the absence of the no money syndrome, and we're not ready, to release funds, or funds are being processed. In the absence of that, I would have had to look for corporate support, or perhaps dig into my own pockets and pre-finance. But this is a national team, and this comes back to this same subject that we've been going on for years. It's a national team, but the priority or priorities for other national teams is not the same as the national team. If it's any other national team, I'm sure we would have had all we needed ahead of time. The boys would have been camped ahead of time. Preparations would have been, fantastic. And let me give you just another one. I mean, and this is not to make an excuse, but upon arrival in Cairo, all the teams connected flights to Hurghada, where we are. As I said, by road, it's over 5 hours. We had to take the bus. So we got to Cairo around just before midnight, and then we had to take the bus. We got to Hurghada early hours of the morning. The boys had a bit of a rest and had to train the same day. And then the next day was a Friday, which was the full day before Saturday opening game. So we just didn't have that rhythm, enough training, rest, recuperate, recover. We didn't have that. And we didn't have the budgets ready. We didn't have money ready. So the 9 days camping was what was possible.
So the Black Sharks, when they got to Egypt, as other teams were using flight to move to the camping base, they had to use a bus for 5 hours. Yes, that's how we are treating our beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, even after they've qualified for the AFCON. Well, he also spoke on incentives, and he says that nothing has shown yet with regards to incentives.
Accused of giving out too much information, but if there's a truth to be told and you don't say it, then it's a lie. So I can't lie to you. You've asked the question, and the answer is no. I mean, as a chairman, I don't know what the per diem is. I don't know what the players will get. And I'm sure this might come as a surprise to you, but Absolutely. This is a reality that we face. And there's a very thin line between pushing, lobbying, and literally begging and pleading for what the boys deserve. But all of this, we've told them to look to think about the games, to focus, to play, and to win. You know, the money or the per diem, which is standard, shouldn't be an obstacle or challenge or a distraction. But since you've asked, the reality and the truth is that that's where we stand. And this is not the first time, you know, something has to change. I don't know when, but this is the reality of the situation we find ourselves. And we're not making a fuss or noise about it. It's just a fact that must be put out there.
Right, so there you heard Yao Ampo for Ankara. He is the chairman for the Beach Soccer Committee and leading the team who are actually in Egypt at the moment, taking part in the Beach Soccer AFCON. They are out of the tournament. They've been eliminated, but they have one game to play, one outstanding game to play, obviously for bragging rights and 4 points in there. Now let's go to CAF, because CAF president Dr. Patrice Motsepe says his intention is to invite private companies to be part of CAF's plan to raise revenue that would see $1 billion made available for football development over the next 8 years. He actually was speaking at a conference that was held yesterday. Now let's get to listen to Patrice Motsepe.
Pass an EXCO resolution in the next few days, open a tender and invite many of the private companies, private enterprises to bid and to be part of this plan in CAF to make sure that in the next 8 years, over the next 8 years, that there's $1 billion that is being made available for football. Every cent of that money must go towards football development. It has to go to investment in the youth. It has to go in investment in academies for boys and girls. And part of the plan is to ensure that if we can get every African nation or every member association to receive $1 million, every year from CAF starting in 2026, a lot of good progress will have been made.
A lot of progress would have been made. Now, he also touched on the issue of stadium, and he has re-echoed the need for countries without standard stadia to get one in order to avoid the stress of traveling to other countries to play their home matches.
One of the problems we have is there are still too many countries in Africa that have to play their football outside the country. You cannot develop football in your nation, in your country, if you've got to play outside. So there's a huge amount of focus to ensure that every one of the 54 nations has got at least one stadium that's at the level of the CAF and FIFA standards.
The Champions League was back yesterday, and Real Madrid fought back from 2 goals down as Vinicius Jr. grabbed a hat-trick in a trailing 5-2 win over visitors Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League in a rematch of last season's final. Dortmund lit up the game with a 2-goal blitz around the half-hour mark from Daniel Malen, and then Jamie gets in to silence the Bernabeu crowd. However, the champions came back after the break and broke Dortmund's resistance with Antonio Rudiger's header on the hour before Vinicius equalized with a close range strike. Lucas Vazquez puts Real Madrid in the lead in the 83rd minute with an unstoppable strike after a counter-attack, and then Vinicius with two magnificent pieces of individual brilliance wrapped up the win to leave his side level with Dortmund on 6 points from 3 games. Here is Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti speaking after the game.
Focus on the small details. I said we needed to press hard. Small might think about coming back and not scoring 3 goals, as it might seem like a utopia. So I told them we had to focus on the small details. I said we needed to press hard, not to miss passes, to make more precise crosses, and to win duels. All these are the small details. Because when you win duels and make good passes, then the dynamics of the match change. When we scored the first goal, that's when we managed to change the dynamic.
Right, so there you have Coach Carlo Ancelotti, Don Carlo, the Italian mafia, making sure that Real Madrid beat Dortmund from 2 goals down. They came to win 5-2 in the Arsenal beat Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League thanks to an own goal by goalkeeper Dmitro Rizinki as they bounce back from a defeat to Bournemouth over the weekend. Gabriel Martinelli's effort in the 29th minute bounced off the post and hit the Shakhtar keeper in the back before trickling over the line as a home side dominance paid off. Now, Aston Villa's magical Champions League journey continued as they marked Unai Emery's second anniversary in charge by going top of the league phase on another European night. To remember, Captain John McGinn set his side on their way against Bologna straight from a free kick at the Villa Park. Villa doubled their lead when John Duran marked his first Villa Park start for 11 months by sweeping home from close range his 7th goal of the season. Now, here is Unai Emery, who was pleased after that game.
I am pleased because we are enjoying here with our supporters as well. Of course, it's brilliant, our start in this competition. Young boys, Bayern Munich at home, and today we kept the same mentality important for the group to keep the same mentality, respecting the opponent, Young boys respecting Bayern Munich, and respecting Bologna, and then trying to impose our game plan, our positioning, our idea. And I think today, against one team, really they are not getting the points like they deserve, but they are always playing, being so tight the result, like today more or less, but we created, I think, more.
Right, so there you have Unai Emery, who is actually on top of the Champions League table at the moment, but then other result, AS Monaco beat Red Star Belgrade by 5-1. AC Milan beats Club Brugge by 3-1. Arsenal 1, Shakhtar 0, Aston Villa 2, Bologna 0, Girona 2, Slovan 0. Juventus were at home and lost to Stuttgart by 1-0. PSG and PSV played out a 1-1 draw. Real Madrid beat Dortmund by 5-2, as I said earlier. And then Sturm Graz were at home and lost to Sporting CP by 2-0. Now, what's the table looking like at this moment? 3 games played for some of these teams. Aston Villa do have all 9 points. AS Monaco behind them with 7. Sporting CP 7. Arsenal do have 7. Dortmund have 6. Brest 6. Benfica 6. Bayern Leverkusen 6. Real Madrid 6. And then Liverpool, they have 1 game today, 6 as well. So let me just bring you fixtures from the Champions League today. We'll see Atalanta take on Celtic. Brest coming up against Leverkusen. Atletico Madrid play Lille, and Barcelona coming up against Bayern. Biggest game for the evening at 7 p.m. We'll see Barcelona take on Bayern. Barcelona have always suffered in these games. Let's see if they can redeem themselves. Don't forget that they are being coached by a former Bayern coach, Hansi Flick. And let's see if Harry Kane can get some goals at Barcelona this evening. Benfica come up against Feyenoord. Man City plays Spartak Praha. Leipzig face Liverpool. RB Salzburg. play Dynamo Zagreb, and then Young Boys host Inter Milan. There are some games in the Europa League this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. We'll see Galatasaray take on Elfsborg, and then Braga play Bordeaux and Glint. All right, that'll be all for sports this morning. And let me quickly once again remind you, don't forget that on Saturday we are going to be at the American International School Sports Complex. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, promises to be awesome. It is a Star FM at 10 Diplomatic Games. Yes, we want you to be part. We want you to be part. So it is actually free. We want you to come and see your favorite presenters in action. Yes, come and see all of us in action on Saturday at 8 a.m. Get you easily go on the American International School Sports Complex and then come in something pink. Well, if you're watching on Facebook, you can see that I'm already in my pink JC, and it means that we are getting ready for Saturday. It is free, but just get to www.starfm.com and then register, because we want to know if you're coming with your family, if you're coming alone, so we get some things for you. All right, that'll be all for sports. My name is Jones, ADZI. This is Star 103.5 FM. The morning show continues.